Hello, it's Harold Lubberdink from the complex Porto Letizia in Porlezza, and I'm here today to explain you the ins and outs of Porto Letizia. I know you're interested in looking at the complex and maybe buying an apartment or more, and to do that actually I would like to explain you more about how it works and something about the past and well, the present and also the future. So originally I'm actually Dutch from Holland, left about 33 years ago, lived in Italy a long time and now in Switzerland, actually just across the border here in Lugano. So yeah, let me explain a bit about Porto Letizia itself. It's been developed in the year 2000 approximately. It was finished, or the major part of Porto Letizia was finished building in the year 2005, 2006. The majority of apartments actually was actually sold, and actually I would say all the apartments on the front side, on the lake side of the complex, had been sold during that time, 2006, and since many things have happened actually. Now it's 2022. Today is actually is June 17, and I just want to explain you a little bit what happened in the past and where we're going to. So Porto Letizia was built, was delivered. It's actually, I'll explain you later how it looks like, what it's all about. I tell you the different locations we have here. We have the Palazzo, which is the main building right in front here, with the lake view and more lively situation. And then you have on the side of the complex the villas and the village, actually where the apartments are, which are more tranquil, more easygoing, a more relaxed holiday than in the front. Some people really like this part of the building, of the complex, and some people like the villas and villages actually for their holiday. So to be more quiet rather than having more hustle and bustle of life. We have created a brochure to explain you about the complex, which I'm going to show to you. But before that, I'd like to explain a bit about the past. 2006 it was delivered. Mainly actually Dutch owners bought these apartments. Some bought one, some bought two, some bought more. But that was all happened then. In about 2007, the Dutch developer actually left the complex for other reasons, nothing to do with this. He was actually building 3 complexes, a big one here in Porlezza, and 2 big ones also in Lake Como. And he had to leave the complexes, and here you go. The builder actually here in Porlezza continued the building and continue to the development, but a company from Milan actually called Morganite, they were not able to manage it. So they weren't able to manage it, they weren't able to rent it, to sell it. They were good builders, but that's about it. So in 2010 they went bankrupt. I was actually I had an office in Menaggio, Lake Como, 15 minutes drive from here. I was actually managing properties, managing second homes for owners and doing the rentals for them. So I was called in by the owners here to continue the complex together with my partner here. Angelo. He's extremely local. He's born in Porlezza, grew up in Porlezza. He really loves it here. Has a big heart for the community, a big heart for the complex. And together we started a little company to continue the complex. We made a deal with the administrator by the time, with the court in Milan and all these things, to continue to property manage and rent the apartments. We're doing that now since 12 years actually, so it's been a long story. Actually the rental's been always very successful, and the property management as well. Having said that, of course, the front side of the complex, all privately owned, were normally nice apartments, very nicely maintained and actually nicely dressed. The back side of the complex actually being owned by a court in Milan, they were not maintained that well. So we always had this dual situation in the complex of having very pretty apartments and actually having apartments which are not as nice. And on Booking.com and all the feedbacks, actually you'll find quite a change actually of people who have been here in the front side or in private apartments. They had a great experience here because it's a real nice location. Luckily, last year a bank actually bought 150 apartments in the complex. Actually bought all the apartments which are there, which are actually finished. It's an important bank. It's an Italian bank, actually investment bank, who bought it, but actually they're owned by the biggest British bank, actually, which is really convenient for us. They bought these apartments. They actually bought the whole depth of the bank, actually, first of all, and then they actually bought these apartments from themselves. And now at the moment we're painting them, we're making them nice, changing the televisions from these big blocks we used to have to normal flat screen TVs, decoration, coffee machines, make them nice, and actually we're actually putting them for sale, right for Uber, right for the bank. And that's actually a huge development, because the more private owners we have, the more heart we have in the complex, the nicer are the apartments, and the best we all work. That's the thing. I created a bit of a brochure just to show you the complex, but I'll make a little video afterwards as well to show you more about it. So the complex is made made out of two sides. One side actually is the main building. You can see here, if you see behind me here, so with the restaurant over there, the bar here, it's a very nice bar and a very nice restaurant. The best ice shop as well in town is in the complex. There's a hairdresser, and it really attracts a lot of local people. Every day here, in wintertime even, it's actually full of locals. Why? Because there's a lot of parking space here, free of charge. It is actually lakefront, so you don't have any cars between the restaurant, bar, and shops to the lake. Actually, it's right in front. And that's quite unique. The village itself has a square, quite a nice square, but actually the square is actually divided by quite a busy road to the lake. So then we have the villas on this side, the front line villas here, and we have the village right behind there. And this is actually the complex. Of course, this is a more quiet area. Still, it is a lakefront area because there's nothing between the village and the villages and the beach. There's a very nice beach as well. A windsurf area where there's a guy actually renting windsurf gear and doing lessons. And well, it's on this side. On this side, I'll show you afterwards. You can walk to Porto to town, probably in 5 minutes. You're downtown. There's a little bridge over a little river, and the situation, the location is very central in town. Right. So you see, there's a lot of nature around here. We'll show you it afterwards. A lot of mountains, but also a lot of things to do in the water sports. So from here you can visit Lugano very easily. Lugano is only 50 minutes away, 15. That's a very nice Swiss town, very posh. The other side actually is 15 minutes also is Lake Como, which also is very nice. Now you actually end up in the lake, in the center of the lake here. Menaggio, Varenna, Bellagio are just 50 minutes drive from here, and it's a super area. Milan itself even is only an hour and 15 minutes, which is also a super city, as you know. It has 3 airports, and skiing is only an hour and 50 minutes as well. You can go to Andermatt on the Gotthard actually, and you can go to Madesimo, which is a small ski resort, a small actually Italian ski resort, or it's also an hour and 15 minutes, or you can go to St. Moritz, which is an hour and 3/4 of an hour, so an hour and 45. What actually happens here is in the winter, not many people book here a house to go skiing. That would be quite unusual. People actually come here as owners a lot, and actually they stay here, enjoy it, they enjoy Milan, they enjoy the area, and actually go skiing on those days. It has been snowing for 1 day or 2 days, and actually they go the day afterwards. So on the very targeted days, actually, that's how you do the skiing here. Let's go back to summer. And there's playgrounds out here. It's a very nice playground, a communal one here next to it. There's an extremely nice restaurant in the complex. In November you come here, it's still very busy. Normally 80% of the people there are locals, which is actually very nice. The whole complex is totally a mix of actually locals and tourists. I would say 70-80% is always locals, and actually the rest is actually tourists, which is actually not dominating, which is nice. That's why it's always alive here actually. Even the beach is normally very well visited by locals. I'll show you later. Then here's a bit of distances. You can see here, I'll send you this brochure anyway, so you have it. Malpensa airport is close by, 90 kilometers. Milan itself the same. Lugano's 15 kilometers, Menagio's 12 kilometers, Lake Como. Then you have the Bodensee, which is actually the German lake. Quite many owners as well are now coming from that area. Of course, they only have 3-4 hours drive to get here. Amsterdam, 1,000 kilometers. This is a bit of the distances. Biking, hiking, very nice. The beach, windsurfing, some of the activities you can do here. It's very nice to have a boat here too, so if you bring your own boat or you have one here, that's very nice. We divided the complex in 3, and you'll see that always. The Palazzo is the main building. You have the front side and you have the back side of the building, with some photos actually in the brochure you received. Here you go. Here's actually the Palazzo. Some very, very nice apartments in the Palazzo. The villa is actually in the front side, front lake side actually of the villas. Also here you have all kinds of private owners. And one is actually made it very luxurious, the one has made it less luxurious. As you see, this one is really amazing, to top standard. And the Villaggio actually, which is actually the one that was mainly bought by the investment bank, is the one actually we're really having a good time at the moment on placing on the market, let's say. Very quiet area, very nice and relaxed holidays you have there, with a nice view on the mountains, with a nice view on the gardens inside. So we also created a test house, which actually is going to be finished by the 5th or 6th of July this year, in which we actually show what you can do with the house if you just change the furniture of the house, and you decorate it, you paint it, or actually you change the floors, the doors, completely furnish it and make new bathrooms as well. So we will have 2 test houses where you can choose from once you bought the house. If you want to finish it and leave it as is, fine. If you want to change it, to just change the furniture, or actually to make total renovation. I have to say, rental wise, of course, the most beautiful apartments rents the best, so keep that in mind, and let's make it a nice complex. So I'll show you text as well on the video for this, but we're just explaining you how it works to actually buy an apartment in Porto, Letizia. We'll support you in everything. We'll support you in the whole process, from notaries down to owning the properties, down to get the electricity bills on your name. But it's just to explain you how it actually works and how, Porto, Letizia, the features and particularities of it. First of all, if you like a house, so you go and see one, or you see 3, 4, however you want to buy a house, you actually make an offer to it. It's a very simple document, a 1-page document with your name on it, the price you offer for the house, and the builder's name is on the bank's name is on there as well as a counterparty, and that's it. It's a very simple document which is actually signed by you as a proposal. Normally we actually demand you, if this proposal is accepted by the bank, so the bank countersigns to actually make a down payment of 10% for the purchase. The down payment is made to the notary's account, so actually not to our account, but it's like a trustee account of the notary, and actually not even the bank's account, let's say, is to go to the notary, and also the final payment goes to the notary actually, which is a very safe way of doing. The moment you actually sign, the money actually is transferred to the selling party. Then in Italy it's quite funny, it's strange, the cadastral value is an important value. Cadastral value is actually the land registry value of a house, and actually it is not equal to the value of the house you pay. If you pay a house, for example, you buy a nice villa right in front of the lake, you end up paying them 2 or 3 million. The cadastral value is normally about 200,000-300,000, so it's about 10 times less. In this complex, a house you buy for about 100,000, the cadastral value is about 50,000, 40,000 euros. And actually that's important to know, because that's where you pay your yearly taxes on, but also it is actually determining your buying cost. How is your buying cost? So you buy, that's the only cost when you buy, it's only one off, right? So if you actually buy a house here, you actually pay on these 50,000, 9% of taxes, right? You pay it right at notaries, and that's actually the value. So whatever the cadastral value of this house is, that's what you pay 9% on. Should you take a mortgage, then you also pay 2% on the total mortgage amount. Let's say you take 50,000 mortgage, you actually pay 2%, is 1,000 euros on the mortgage amount. If you actually buy a private property right in front of the building, or right in front of the villas from a private owner, you actually have an agency commission of 3% plus VAT as well. If you don't buy from a private owner but you buy from the bank, there's no cost whatsoever in terms of agency fees. Then the notary costs from 2,000 to 2,500 euros approximately if you only buy the house. If you also have a mortgage, that actually doubles to 5,000 euros, 4,000 to 5,000 euros, because you actually have to do two documents. One is a document for buying the house, and the other one is a document for doing the mortgage. Then, what's the difference in Italy, buying a house in Italy and any other country? There's no real difference. If you're from Holland, you're from Germany, you're from England, you're from Denmark, you can buy as many houses as you want in Italy, as well as Italians can buy in your country. If you come from Switzerland, you can only buy one house, or actually up to 150 square meters, as also the Italians are only allowed in Switzerland to buy up to 150 square meters property. It's a reciprocal, so actually the Italians have decided to do exactly the same as the Swiss do to the Italians. The Swiss are actually linked to this. But if you come from any other country, there's no extra, there's no special to it. Opening a bank account is super simple. We actually recommend to open a bank account because you pay your electricity bills, and you need to maybe pay your taxes, and you get your rental income if you want. You can also get it on your bank account at home, but it's good to have a bank account here to pay your bills. It makes it very easy. The whole process is very easy and actually very secure. It's very it's a good process, because at notary it works like in your country. Actually, if you're British, it's different, but if you're actually from Holland, or from Germany, or from Switzerland, we go to notary. At notary, we actually hand over, as of that moment, you're actually the owner of the property. We hand over the property to you. You sign, you pay the amounts to the notary. The notary pays it to the selling party, and from that moment on, you're the owner. The owner is actually liable here. The notary is liable for there not being any mortgages, not being any liens, any problems with the house. The notary is actually responsible for that. So that's a good covering thing to know. I've never ever seen that many transactions a mistake made by a notary because they're personally liable for that, which is an important thing. Now we go to the particularities of Porto Letizia, right? So what's different here to other houses? You buy a house on the hill and you buy a house in Porto Letizia. What's the difference? Well, the main difference is this used to be a big camping place in year 2000. The local commune gave the authority to actually build this, so gave the possibility to build this, but they didn't want it to become a residential place, nor did they want it to become a secondary home place, which is always empty because the owners buy it and they never come. So what they said is a secondary home place, but you have an obligation also to rent it out if you're not coming, right? So if you're coming, you can actually, on notary deed you will see you have 9 months which you can fix yourself. 3 months you can fix yourself during the year. You want to come yourself, and the rest of the year it's going to be rented by a company. Actually, the company is ours at the moment, so we are appointed since 12 years now to do the rentals in this complex. But let's say you're linked to a rental and property management company to do that for you. Do you think, okay, what about the winter time? Can I come anywhere? Yeah, you come anytime you want. There's no limits to that. So the house is empty, you come whenever you want. How do you come? Well, you have to block it, because even if you leave today, you live in Zurich and you want to leave today, you have to block your house a second, because it can always be that we have a last minute booking or we move some people from one house to the other. So it's very important that we just have a click like, okay, I'm coming today, or I'm coming next week, or I'm coming next year. You can book up to 3 years in advance. You can book your house already. So it's very important that you book it, because if you don't book it, it might as well be that we book it ourselves. So because we have quite some I'll talk about the rental afterwards. So it's important to book it yourself. You have 3 months yourself, and the rest of the 9 months we actually allow to rent it out for you. Many owners actually end up coming mainly off season, because off season is super nice and quiet. They know the area. They don't want too many people around. And actually the rental prices are higher, and they enjoy this money to actually go on holiday, maybe to Caribbean or to any other place. So that happens often as well. But you can also come in high season, there's no limit to that. It's very important for you to know that you don't pay anything for that. So you come yourself to your own house, you don't pay anything for that. You just have to note, okay, I'm coming, that's fine. You don't pay, your kids don't pay, your parents don't pay, and your brothers and sisters of all the owners. So even if you have 3 or 4 owners, all these people do not pay anything. We call it direct. Family does not pay. They can even clean the house after they leave themselves. You don't have any charges. But should you rent a place to your neighbor or to your friends or to your colleagues, or actually you put an ad out there, you can't go everywhere. You have to go on. You can go on websites. We're not on ourselves. You can go there. You can make your own website. You can promote it to your friends and to your family and to your company, and actually we will charge you 22% of the market price then. So let's say how the property costs per week €1,000. We actually charge you €220 for that week for property management and taking care of the reception and everything. So that's important to know as well. You come yourself, no cost. Direct family, no cost. You actually rent it out yourself. You have 22%. If you rent it the whole time to people, we're only happy about it because 22% commission goes to us anyway as a rental company. Good. Then, if you don't rent it but we rent it out, so there's an income, of course, which comes in via all the OTAs. OTAs is online travel agents we work with. We work with TUI, for example. We work with Interhome, Interchalet. We work with a very nice company called Happy Dog Rentals. That's actually my own company, that's why. But we also work with Booking.com, Airbnb, HomeAway. You name them, we work with them to fill your property, right? So these bookings come in. The period get blocked. You will see it on your calendar, and actually we get about 80% or 75% of what the guest paid. For example, TUI cashes in 1,000, gives us 750, and we give to you 600 of that. So 150 stays with us, and actually 60% is always going directly to the owner, right? So that's also important to know. So we've been talking about you renting yourself, you coming yourself. We're talking about renting. We rent, you get 60% of the income. We talked already about 3 months you can choose yourself in the year. The total finished apartments here are 250 units, 250, and actually behind the complex there's already now cascos built with a roof on it for about 400 properties more. So the bank is interested, of course, in developing that as well. At the moment, they're selling these, the ones they have, and then probably in the future they will also start to do these cascos because they're very interesting, and they are already developed there. They're just out there to be finished. The apartment, you can make it as nice as you want, and you can even leave it as basic as you want. It doesn't matter. Of course, as I said before, the nicer you make it, the more you rent it. That's the real deal. So we have some really nice apartments here. And also you enjoy it yourself more. When you come yourself, you go to your own apartment. It's nicer to have a nice place rather than having a basic place. But you can leave it as you want. So you can actually make it as you want. The most important thing, there's some minimum features we'll ask you to have. Like, for example, a microwave, a sofa bed, forks and knives and all these things. Right. So these are the particularities of Porto Letizia. As an owner, you receive from us a login code to your own personal site. In your personal site, you'll be able to see your personal details, so your name, your surname, your email address. If you want to change it, you can change it. If you have a bank account on there as well, you can change it. So your personal details in there, you can change them yourself. Then you see all the bookings of the house all in one line, and then you can actually see the calendar, so you can actually book it yourself, or for your family, or for your friends, or for your guests actually. You can do everything online on that. You can even change the booking yourself. So if you want to change it, you can do that. Also on there you see all the financials. So you see all the pluses and minuses. The pluses are normally the rental. The minus, for example, if you rent, you get a minus on there of 22%. If we do something for the house, for example, we actually maintain it for you. So we have a property management action of changing things for you, or actually something breaks, like your dishwasher doesn't work, you have to send a technician. There's actually an extra charge for that. You will see that on your account. It's like a bank account actually. You can see the full year on there as well. But on the day you look today, you can see actually how much we owe you, or how much you owe us actually as an owner. And you can click on Pay Me Now if you want to be paid. So then the payment goes out to you directly. Good. Mortgage information, it's a bit outdated because it changes every day now. So I would not stop too much about this. We actually have to update it the moment we see you. If you're interested in the mortgage, we can put you in contact with the bank and actually discuss the mortgage the mortgage information, percentage-wise and amounts. We normally are quite able to have 50 to 60% mortgage for the property. Capital gains taxes and succession rights. It's important to know that if you sell the house with an earning within 5 years, so you buy it today, within 2027 you sell it again, you actually are liable for 20% tax on your earning, just on what you make. So you can deduct the notary cost. If you have agency costs as well, you deduct any cost, and then you actually, on the earning, you can actually pay 20% tax. 5 years and 1 day you pay 0. Well, good to know, because many countries are very different than that. Succession rights. In Italy, we don't really have succession rights. There's no taxes to be paid in case. But of course, you're not Italian. You're not, or maybe you are Italian, but you're not based in Italy. So actually, you are obliged to the laws in your own country, actually, for that concern. So, in the village, we actually have different kinds of apartments. One's a studio apartment, no bedroom. A 1-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom apartment, and we have only 3-bedroom apartments as well. These are the possibilities. The prices range from 75,000 to 95, 125, and 180,000 euros. You will see it on the brochure. If you go to the right, then actually it shows you the amount you have to bring in yourself if you take a 60% mortgage. Okay, if you take 60% mortgage, you actually bring in 40% yourself. This is exactly 40% of this amount here. Then, you have some cost every year and you have some income every year. This actually explains the cost you have every year. It's actually composed of utility bills, because in the village, for example, you have your own gas and your own gas bills, so for heating, and you have your own electricity bill as well, and that's actually part of this. Also, you have your condominium charges, which actually is the share charges between all the owners. Then you have the council tax. The council tax actually is based again on the cadastral value. We saw that before. So the cadastral value actually determines how much council tax you pay. Normally about 300-400 euros per year is what you pay. And then you have an accountant fee, because every year you have to actually make a tax declaration here. And the accountant makes a tax declaration for you because you pay some tax on the income. Now we come to the income. The incomes are described here. This is approximate income if you rent the property for 8 weeks in high season, 10 weeks in mid-season, and 2 weeks in low season. This is approximately your income. Of course, if you use the house very often yourself, it will be less. And actually, there's also quite some good ways to make it more, because what happens here in the winter time is that we have definitely less holiday rental, or let's say close to 0. So what we did is actually we offer our places to locals who actually need a house for a couple of months. We offer the houses to builders, for example, who come here for a couple of months. People work in Lugano and then we need a house here for a couple of months, or for the year, or for the full year even, doesn't matter. So we actually also rent out monthly in the off season, and that actually makes a very interesting and good situation for us. It creates a good situation. Why? Because then we can be open all year. We have the reception open all year. And there's always people here, because we have approximately 80 to 90 properties occupied in the wintertime by whoever. Normally professionals, normal people, actually, for example, a teacher coming here from the south of Italy, teaching in Porto, they need a house. And the prices are quite convenient for them and all-inclusive, which they like. On the rental income, you actually, I will come back on that. As an owner, you can choose to do that. Many owners don't do that because they like to come in the winter themselves and like to be spontaneously able to go when they want in the winter, spring and autumn. But if you fancy, and actually if you buy the property as an investment, it's an extremely interesting thing. Of course, the monthly rate is approximately the same as a weekly rate in high season. But still, do that times 8 is still an interesting amount. And actually, for your ROI, return on investment, is very interesting. That so you rent it out for 4, 5, 6 months for holidays, and you rent it out long season, long period for the winter time. It's an ideal situation. Then we have also some properties still in the Palazzo available, right on the front side. Very few private owners who actually are reselling, and actually we can offer them to you as well. You'll see in the Palazzo we have the first floor, which actually is so the ground floor is actually commercial. It's bar, restaurant, and shops. The first floor actually has apartments with actually quite a big terrace, so you can eat outside there, which is actually very nice. Of course, you have more contact with what's happening down there, so it's a bit more noisy, and the view is nice. It's a straight lake view, but of course, the higher you go, the better, the more perspective you have, the more dramatic gets the view. So the second floor and third floor, primo. Then we have secondo and terzo, so you'll see the P apartment, which is the primo. We have the secondo apartment, which is on the second floor, and we have the third floor, we have the terzo apartments. And they are, of course, having a more dramatic view, because they look from above, they have a great perspective, you'll see it in the other video. And well, they're very nice apartments as well. They don't have outside space to eat really with a bigger group, because there's balconies actually only. Every apartment has 2 balconies in the upper floors. So this is a bit of an explanation of how it works here. Let's talk about some frequent asked questions. I put some down. Often people ask us, okay, what about the cleaning? How does that work? Well, we actually do the cleaning for you. So if you actually come yourself, you find the house in a good shape, the house is clean already. If you come yourself, you can clean it afterwards yourself, or you can tell us this and you do it for us. For the guests, we always do it. So there's always an obligation for the guest to take the cleaning charges. And actually the bed linen we also supply. The bed linen is already on the bed when people come in. That's important to know. Then damage. People always ask, oh, so many people using the house. First of all, it's important to make a robust house. The more robust you make it, the more you actually put in furniture which actually stays over years, the better it is for everybody. And you'll see in this complex, strange enough, in some videos we make now, but in live as well, the majority of these apartments have furniture since 17 years, and it's in quite a good shape actually. So having rented it out, having lived in itself 17 years long, actually the furniture has been very robust when it was bought, which is good. So if you buy some new ones, buy some good one again. So not expensive, nice looking, and actually robust. That's important. If something breaks, so for example, in breakage, there's 2 things. One is actually wear and tear, so people use the house and there's traces of usage. For example, somebody passes with a luggage to the wall and actually some scratches on the wall. Some people actually break a glass, or normal using things of the house actually wear and tear, and actually down to the owner actually. Or your fridge breaks, for example, doesn't work anymore. That's actually something that the owner has to fix. And we do it for the owner, of course, but it's actually at cost of the owner. If anything is broken, apart from that, for example, a guest tears down the television and one of the children does it, and it breaks, or they break a window, or anything actually major damage, actually we as a company pay for that, right? So you cover for that. So the gray area is, the gray area, the one side is the wear and tear, the other side is the breakage, and in the middle indeed there's some gray area which you can discuss. Is it wear and tear, or is it actually a damage actually? Good. So that's it. The reception we spoke about before. The reception is well covered. It's actually open all year. We have extremely nice people there. Ida is our main lady there. She's there since I think 15 years, and she's such a big heart for the complex. It's amazing. So what's happening here is a unique moment now, because it's been in a dip for a long time here, I have to say, with of course a bankruptcy, problems it had. There's 2 phases of a very nice front side and a less nice back side. It's taken a real different shape now, and everything's been painted now. Everything's being upgraded. Many owners now who buy houses, they make them very nice. So you see building sites all over the place of people improving houses. Some of them are finished and they look really, really stunning. So it's quite a moment of really coming out of a dip, and I think it's a very unique moment. We all feel good about it. We have quite some owners maybe wanted to sell, they don't want to sell anymore because now really they enjoy it, and it's like it's got a complete new face and a new energy, as if you looked at it a couple of years ago. So that's it. That's an explanation of how it works with the complex. And your other frequent asked questions. Yeah, well, let me speak about one more thing. The condominium. So the condominium is actually taking care of everything which is the outside of the complex. Means the gardens, the park actually, where the beach is. It takes care of the facades of the houses. It takes care of the roofs. It takes care of actually the staircase going to the houses. That's actually outside of the door is taken care of by the share owner condominium. The condominium is actually based in Como. It's a lawyer. He's called Helzel. I think he's a very good condominium manager, but condominium has been suffering the last 10 years from being bankrupt as well. So in total, there's approximately 400,000 euros still left to be paid into the condominium. But of course that's going to be divided, I guess this year or next year, maybe over 1 or 2 years, over 250 owners. So it's nothing big, but it's something to know. The condominium has been suffering. It's already picked up a lot now because the Goober Bank actually bought and had to pay quite a lot into the condominium bank account, but also there's still some amount to be paid. For the rest, a lot of these jobs actually for the outside, we as a company do again. We as a property management company do again because they're in Como, we're here, we do the gardens for them, we do the cleaning of the staircases and halls for the condominium. So good. Anything which is inside the house, actually we do. That's our property management side. So we open your house with the keys, and that's actually directly us to the owner, and on the other side the condominium is the other part. So that's another question which is often asked, and how it works. And actually, I think it works in a very nice way. And of course now in a new vibe of having actually new owners and actually having money to do things, it'll be great to see the complex developing. Having said that, it's in a good shape actually now. We just need some painting here and there, some decorating. Structurally it's in a good shape. There's no hidden problems or anything alike. It's quite good to see that after 17 years many of these properties look very, very good, and that's quite amazing to see without much maintenance even. Yeah, that's it. That's a good moment now. I tried to explain you a little bit about the complex. I did this video mainly to show you, because otherwise I have to explain every time, and just a video, just a brochure is something, but if you have just a brochure it's very dry, and it's good to have some explanation around it from somebody. So me, myself, Harold, Angelo, my partner, he's also the restaurant owner. We manage the complex with our reception. We take care of the rental, we take care of the management, and also we take care of the sales side of the apartment. So I just wanted to explain you a bit more about the complex and show you something around. It won't be a fantastic video in terms of quality, but because it will be moving around a little bit, it will be showing you the area around Porto actually and around this complex. So if you look at the building here, this is the main building actually, the Palazzo we call it, as you see from the left side to the right side, with the restaurants below and the bar below and the shops below actually. It's right in front of the lake. You see on the right side, you see as well boats, you see jet skis, you see actually stage jet of course. No, it's actually not the best day of the year, but who cares? You can see what's going on in Porto. There's a lot of water sports going on here. Porto is actually famous also for camping. There's 2 campings around here. It's the only flat place in the whole area because normally it's very mountainous. Humongous mountains actually next to the lake, 1700 up to 2700 meters are right next to Lake Como and Lake Lugano. So I'll show you from the outside. I also want to show you from the inside. I show you the restaurant a little bit quickly and the bar. So this is the bar actually, and the bar is normally full of locals and tourists actually. You'll see at the moment it's quiet. It's mid-season day and the weather's not the best today. We can walk inside even. So this is a very pretty bar for breakfast, for drinks, and it's normally very, very frequented actually. So you can walk from the inside. On the right side here. Good staging today because not too many people, no problems with anything. So this is the Palazzo you see there. Between the Palazzo and the beach actually there is a rowing club. It's a separate rowing club, actually very nice, owned by locals. And here's the beach. So it's a very nice beach. If you turn around more, you start seeing the villas on the side, all lakefront. But of course not with the best lake view ever, because the best lake view is in the Palazzo, but still it's a very nice position there, because there's nothing between the houses and the beach actually. Good, let's go and see the villas from close by, and we're going to see the villaggio. So the villas actually, you'll see some villas here. These are quite traditional villas actually, not changed very much. You'll see here some very nice villas just being completely refurbished to a very luxury standard. Everybody can do whatever they want, as I said before. You can actually make it very, very nice as well. So that's the thing. And this is a Danish owner we have recently, he's making super standard apartments there. And you can see here how the beach looks like. We've of course been staging a couple of locals actually to play volleyball for you. So here you go. You can see how close the beach is and how well the locals play actually. So these are the last two villas, for example, in a row, very nicely refurbished. This is actually the standard we want to go to with the whole complex actually. This is a German owner, he's a professional garden designer, so of course he made it very nice, but also his neighbors look fabulous. And this is the standard we want to bring the whole complex to. And that will happen as well. I just want to tell you something more, now we're talking anyway, about prices. If you spend about 100,000 here, just 15 kilometers that way you'll spend 1 million, 10 times more. And probably 12 kilometers that way to Menaggio you spend 5-6 times more at least. So there's a lot of potential. That's why actually the investment here is good. In terms of resale, it's going to be amazing because the prices are going to go up. We see it now already. It's like really booming. And for the resale we've been doing. And yeah, I mean, return on investment is nice. Definitely if you rent out the place for the full year actually. So you also allow us to rent out in the winter time. The return on investment is actually very nice. You go to 5, 6, 7% even if you let us go. But the best thing is the resale actually. And having a place in Italy. You have a place in Italy for 100, 200,000, which is quite unique. You might have the possibility to buy a parking space back home. So this you see again the building sites on the back side. Danish guy, good friend of ours. And here you see the buildings on the back side. Actually there's public roads here, and these are actually parking spaces for locals. I mean for who actually stays here. So there's always parking space here. The roads are quite wide, and even in summertime when it's really peak season we never have a parking problem here. On the right side you also see the unfinished buildings. We call them the rusticos, or whatever you want to call them. They're here since 17 years. The funny thing actually, there's all kinds of stuff growing on top of them, but they are still in good shape because they had a concrete roof on top. So the idea is actually when the bank actually has the possibility and is interested to doing the next move, they'll do the next move and actually buy these rusticos as well of themselves. So they actually are the credit holders actually, but they'll actually buy them in a second stage. For the time being, what we're going to see now is the Villaggio is owned by Uber. So this is actually the Villaggio. The Villaggio is right behind the first row villas. And actually you see some part of it. It's an extremely quiet, nice area with this big courtyard in the middle, green. Yeah, it's also very nice area. It's like if you want to have a quiet holiday, this is where you come actually, and just whatever, 20 seconds, 30 seconds or half a minute, yeah, you're at the beach, so it's very good. This is the restaurant in Porto Letizia. It's called Osteria del Porto. It's actually very nice. It's very local. You come here on the 12th of November and there's still a lot of people around here for lunch and for dinner. Events. It's just a very nice place, and done with love. Nice outside area, nice inside area, quite big. So good. It's an asset for us because if you have a restaurant and a bar and amenities in the complex, actually people like that, and guests like that as well. So I would like to thank you for listening to me. This was a briefing showing you around. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your interest in the complex. We'd love to see you here. Come and see us, come and see the complex, choose a nice apartment, be a happy owner, we'd love that. So enjoy, bye.